It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag NBA.
Ball moved to Holiday. Holiday drives down the middle of the floor, hangs in the air, throws it through two men out to the corner for Jaylen Brown. Good night three.
Hello, Irene. Good night, Irene.
Donovan Mitchell, right wing, three. Bullseye!
He's playing to win. Guts. That was a gutsy shot.
Jaylen, three-point line right. Met there by Post. Slide steps. Deep three coming up on the way. And rattles in. Huge triple.
Steve mentioned how it bothered him that the crowd yelled what it yelled. How did you feel about that?
It's not original. Been there before, won a championship while it's happening. So yeah, it's not really original. Can't steal other people. That belongs to Boston. I kind of just kept it pushing.
Draymond Green, his thoughts about Houston fans chanting at him. Meanwhile, the Rockets are winning the game 109-94, evening the series. Jimmy Butler with a pelvic contusion loss. He left the game early, did not return. MRI today, so we'll see about his availability for the rest of the series. Everybody, wait to see what happens that maybe the Warriors are done before they start with an injury. Just have to see what happens with Butler. Celtics and Cavs, pretty predictable, PK. The Stars take over. Well, the Celtics are missing one star. No Tatum, no problem. Jaylen Brown, 36-10. So that series is 2-0. And if Tatum, who fell and hurt his wrist, I guess, needs another night off, no big deal. They can probably give it to him. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Donovan Mitchell, 30 points, 6 boards, 6 assists. Cavaliers are up 2-0 on the Heat. They seem to be rolling along no problem. Tonight, Knicks and Pistons. That series is 1-1. That's 5 o'clock on TNT, followed by the Thunder and Grizzlies at 7:30. Denver and the Clippers are over on NBA TV at 8 o'clock. Knicks star Jalen Brunson is named the NBA's Clutch Player of the Year, a relatively new award. Can you even remember who won the other Clutch Players of the Year without looking it up?
I didn't even know they had one.
Right.
So I couldn't tell you, no. Means nothing to me.
A judge in Memphis, Tennessee dismissed the lawsuit filed by a teenager against Memphis Grizzlies star Ja Morant that accused Morant of punching him during a pickup game at Morant's house in 2022. The judge citing Morant acted in self-defense.
No, she didn't take out a gun.
See, positive. Former BYU star Jimmer Fredette announces his retirement from professional basketball. How are you going to remember him and his career? That is the question of the morning, and we'll get to that coming up in our next segment. Jimmer, it's all over. 5-on-5, 3-on-3, it's all done. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NFL.
It's such a weird question to ask, and you kind of get in trouble no matter how you answer it. I don't think anybody ever really views themselves as a mentor, solely as a mentor. I think we all want to go out there and compete and play. I think if you're in the quarterback room for a day or two, you can probably understand that things like that naturally come up. I've played a lot of football, and I have a lot of different experiences, and there's a certain way that I see it, and there's a certain way I can talk about footwork and reads and those things, and I think they naturally come up. And I think when you just have a competitive, good quarterback room, you don't really have to worry about being a mentor. You just you do you, and you compete, and you have fun, and conversations come up, and everybody learns from it.
That's Joe Flacco's thoughts on possibly mentoring a young quarterback in Cleveland, if indeed the Browns are drafting a young quarterback. And when you hear guys could go anywhere from the 3rd pick to the 33rd, really don't know what the Browns are doing, including possibly trading for a pick late in the 1st round and taking a QB there. Anything could happen tonight.
Yeah, I'll be watching to see what happens.
Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes said he expects the team's passing attack to come alive this season. Everything looks great right now, getting the guys back and healthy. I think the offense has a chance to be really, really good. The core group will be back in its entirety, so the goal is to try to build on it and get even better and try to get back some of the explosive passing plays we've done in years past. And, of course, a lot of that will have to do with having a healthy offensive line in front of him. Tennessee Titans are expecting to draft Cam Ward with first overall selection in the NFL tonight. Added former Seahawks wide receiver Tyler Lockett on a one-year deal. So they bring in the veteran to help the rookie.
Yeah, lock it on heaven's doors.
NFL Hall of Famer Steve Mongo McMichael was part of the Chicago Bears' famed 46 defense in the 1980s, passed away after a battle with ALS. Second in Bears history with 92.5 sacks.
67, man. Wow.
Way young, right?
Jeez.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
Judge Claudia Wilkin, who's been overseeing the protracted House settlement saga, said she would not approve the multi-billion-dollar antitrust settlement that is expected to reshape the business of college sports unless they change a proposed policy for limiting roster sizes or implementing roster reductions. She could not approve a settlement that would cause harm for some members of the plaintiff's case. She wrote she did not have issues with any other parts of the proposed settlement and that the court tentatively finds it can grant final approval to the remainder of the settlement if the roster limits issue is resolved. So maybe the rosters aren't going down to 105. Maybe a bunch of players aren't headed to the portal.
And now you got coaches who've already cut guys who are really upset.
Why can't they bring them back?
They could, assuming they haven't already enrolled in another school.
Well, why can't they come back?
Leave that school and re-enroll. And go.
Why are you assuming that's an
Why are you
impediment?
assuming that there's any rules at all?
Once I got the plaintiff on that story, I hit get out of it, and I thought I'll just let DJ figure it out. I didn't get into this business to be worrying about plaintiffs and court rulings and some lady and the House settlement. The House settlement, man. If I took a drink every time I heard the House settlement, gosh.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
Cubs beat the Dodgers again, 7-6. Cubbies playing really good baseball and now 6 games over 500. Pete Crow Armstrong, solo home run, LA native, helping beat the Dodgers. If you had not gotten Ron Say's gig at third base, and yet then it played for somebody else and beat the Dodgers, how fired up would you have been?
Okay, you lost me. What was that scenario?
Well, Pete Crow Armstrong grew up in L.A. He probably wanted to play for the Dodgers the way you wanted to play for the Dodgers and replace Ron Bay at third base. Now he's playing for the Cubs. He drives in 4 runs. He homers.
Okay, I understand that. Those are
Would
stats.
you have
What's the
felt?
question?
Would you have felt like that was a big deal? Like, I got those guys. I wanted to be there.
And I would do it against Florida, Miami. You're in the big leagues. You're hitting home runs. That's a dream come true for everybody, isn't it? Every boy who's ever played baseball, T-ball. If you want to make the Dodgers extra special, great. But just the fact that you could be there and be in Wrigley, I told you my sister's through common law marriage nephew pitched for the Cubs briefly, and that was a dream come true. And I've spoken to him, and I've hugged him, because I thought that was just incredible. And watching him on the television throwing pitches for the Cubs in Wrigley Field several years back was just, it was unfathomable to me. And not that he grew up a Cub fan, that's not it. But just the fact that he was there all of it would be an absolute dream come true. And that doesn't even account for all the money that you make. That's just putting on the uniform and playing. I went to 2 high school games yesterday, so that ought to tell you where my heart is.
Eli White, 3-run homer. Braves beat the Cardinals 4-1. Braves, after a horrible start, back within 4 games of 500. Get their 10th win of the year. They're 10-14 now. Digging out of that early season hole that they weren't expected to be in the first place. Maybe they will soon escape. We always talk about how big Aaron Judge is and how easy it is for him to just seemingly just rip that bat through the strike zone and smash home runs. But the big man can run. How about a triple? Yankees beat the Guardians 5-1.
He's a locomotive.
Salt Lake Bees, they get beat by Oklahoma City 6-3. Same 2 teams tonight again at the ballpark. DJ and PK.
Hashtag RSL.
Real Salt Lake completed a trade with Sporting Kansas City to add forward Willie Agata. Their potential transfer, Boa Vista forward Robert Bosniak, fell apart, with Boa Vista making new demands, wanting extra money late. I heard $200,000, $700,000. Poverty team that apparently has done multiple deals and then not paid clubs around the world after the deals. So that falls apart, and Real Salt Lake adds Willie Agata, $500,000 in allocation money, Kansas City. He scored 10 goals last year. He's 25 years old. Scores most of his goals right where Pablo wants him. Get the goal scorers in front of the goals. Be dangerous. So
Willie Agata Davida.
Willie Agata Davida. Sing it, baby. Sing it.
You can use that.
Okay,
you
thank
need
you.
a little flair. You're kind of sterile.
Thank you, PK.
So I'm trying to help you.
It doesn't really feel like it.
Get yourself something that you're known for. Don't always take the safe route.
Agata expected to be at training today, flying in this morning, meeting with the media at noon on a plane to San Diego. I don't know.
You don't know?
Maybe. We'll see.
Well, I would bet my life that you'll be there.
Well, I don't want you to get killed, PK.
You have nothing to worry about.
Woo!
You will be there.
And he's expected to be in the lineup Saturday in San Diego. Well, maybe off the bench, but in the 20
There's
anyway.
two things you take care of at all times, and RSL's one of them.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag golf.
PGA Tour contests the Zurich Classic this week with the team event taking place in New Orleans. Former BYU golfers Zach Blair and Patrick Fishburne are on the course playing already.
Oh, lucky them.
Team events, the outlier on the PGA Tour.
Who's the teams?
They pair them up.
Shirts and skins?
That would be something on the PGA Tour if they okayed that. The Tour won't okay shorts. Pretty sure they're not going to okay shirts and skins.
Well, then you know immediately who's on each other's team, right?
See, there you go. The logic of it all.
Otherwise, you turn on, you're not really sure.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag NHL.
Kempe, he scores! A rude welcome to the game for Calvin Pickard. Kempe, his second, and the Kings comfortable in game 2. McKinnon, he's double teamed. Rantanen can't take the puck away. Now does. Skates to stick away from Drouin. Played ahead to Marchment. Marchment drives to the net. He holds, finds a cutter. Score! Marchment sets up Sagan. The Dallas Stars get the win in overtime.
Stars killing off 4 minutes worth of penalties. That was an awesome opportunity for Colorado to win, and they couldn't do it. And then the Stars score, so they win the game 2-1, and they lead the series 2-1. Kings dominating the Oilers 6-2. LA now with a 2-zip lead over Edmonton in that series. And Washington up 2-zip on Montreal. The Capitals beat the Canadiens 3-1. 4 more games tonight. Doubleheader on TBS, Florida and Tampa, followed by Vegas and Minnesota. And over on ESPN2, it's Toronto and Ottawa, followed by Winnipeg and St. Louis. What is Trending is brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Coming up, Tom Holmoe is going to join us at 8 o'clock. BYU Athletic Director, getting ready to retire. And at 8:30, Chris Hill, former Utah Athletic Director, will be in studio. It's all ADs all day today. And joining us also in studio, the guys from Providence Hall. Nathan and Austin are here, the Executive Director and the Athletic Director. Guys, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
What is the message from Providence Hall this morning?
Hey, we're really fortunate to be here. Providence Hall is a little charter school down in Harriman, Utah, and we're here to talk a lot about our programs and the things that we offer down there. We are kind of surrounded by a lot of schools and a lot of opportunity for our students down there, and wanted to give a chance to shout out to some of the programs we have.
And some of those programs are? I'm not asking you to pick between your kids. You know, what's your favorite program?
Yeah, that would not be fair, right? Yeah, we are a 3A school down there in in Harriman, so we compete in High School Activities Association. We also have a phenomenal theater program and performing arts. And our programs, we offer quite a bit for our students. You think about, a big high school that's down in Utah County or South Salt Lake County, and opportunity is a big thing, right? And being able to participate in a program and being able to participate in sports and activities is hard when you're competing against 2,500 other students. And we have football, baseball, basketball, the whole suite.
So some people might think at a private charter school where, basically you can recruit, competing in some of those schools might be difficult also. How big are the teams? How many sports do you have? I assume at 3A, if you're big enough, you're competing in everything.
Yeah, we offer, like Nate said, we offer really everything that students need, and we don't have a swimming program. I think most of the smaller schools don't have some of those, lacrosse, but we've got our volleyball and our softball and baseball and obviously football and soccer and anything that the kids need, because really being a student athlete at the high school level, it's really just about the development that a kid gets through, the mental, emotional, physical development that's going to just carry them through the rest of their lives. And we offer that opportunity for sure for our kids, our student athletes, and because that's really what it's about.
An opportunity for kids to play.
Yeah.
As someone who is just good enough to get on a high school team and just good enough to sit a lot as a junior, it turns out that sitting is not a lot of fun.
No.
Playing as a sophomore and a senior was way more fun than sitting as a junior. So if people want to know more about Providence Hall, how do they find out? How do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, they can go to our website at www.providencehall.com. That's an easy way to kind of reach out to us. Our phone number is 801-727-8260. They can give our high school or our junior high and elementary. We are a K through 12 school. You can give us a call directly.
How many students all in K through 12, do you know?
Yeah, so we have around 2,100 students. The high school has around 650 students. We have a pretty sizable charter school down there. And so, but to your point, opportunity is great, right?
Right.
Not being able to have to compete against a lot of students for opportunities. And one of the things that is phenomenal about the school is you can compete in multiple things, right? Being able to do something in the fall and the winter and the spring is we have a lot of our student athletes and people who participate in extracurriculars are able to do multiple things. So it's been great.
Providence Hall, give them the web address one more time. So
www.providencehall.com.
There it is. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. We appreciate it. DJ PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. The question of the day, Jim or Fredette? Next.
Hey, bro. You hear us every day with our crazy opinions.
Hey, what you doing?
Well, now it's time to hear from you.
Hey, great show.
Download the KSL Sports app and fire off your thoughts with the call-in tab on the bottom of your screen.
This show is fantastic. It's the one that captivates me the most.
You can tell PK to stop singing.
G-Bang!
Let Jake and Ben know what you really think of the Jazz. Woo! Tell Hans and Scotty about your favorite barbecue spot or what color of tie JJ should be wearing on TV. The best entries will be played on the air. Download the KSL Sports app now and hit the call-in button to let your voice be heard.
I think you guys do an incredible job.
This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. It is time for the question of the morning. Jim or Fredette has retired from basketball. How will he be remembered?
Very simply, as the greatest individual sports story in the history of Utah college sports.
There it is.
Even better than Ty Detmer's Heisman run. Now, Heisman is more prestigious, blah, 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 for sure. But the individual run that Jimmer had was nothing like we've seen before or since. You look at the Sweet 16 team this year. Richie Saunders, it was a team. That was a team too, but we immediately go and are magnetically attracted and demanded to say Jimmer.
Basketball has the advantage over football. Football just insists it's the team environment.
Exactly.
You're not playing offense and defense. And I think the thing to
Jimmer
me...
didn't play defense either.
Hey, now, that's it. Johnny right here. If only Jimmer knew how to defend.
No.
Darren, the only D he had, terrible all-around player.
No.
Just realized I couldn't read that entire thing.
They didn't have to have him do it. They had Jackson Emery to handle that. They purposely had him take it easy so he could be on the other side.
Got to have legs late in the game to hit those outrageous threes.
And he was undersized for his position, but he was also a very strong young man. He's sturdy.
Jason, as a Utah fan, I was
TJ or JT, or what was his name?
TJ, right?
His brother?
Yeah.
Yeah, how'd he make it? I mean, it's Slim Shady, TJ. Would he be East Coast rap? Did he get caught up in that? He's an East Coast guy.
He was more Intermountain rap.
But he established himself here. His
Intermountain West rap. Yeah, there we go.
His sister was off the radar. I believe she was a teacher. Maybe still is in the area. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't be talking trash. I mean, come on, man. I mean, join the Jimmer Bash, man, and you get it. It's like a disease. You got a rash.
Jason says, as a Utah fan, I was caught up in Jimmermania. He was exciting to watch in college. Obviously, he'll be remembered for that rise to greatness more than not being able to make it work in the NBA.
Yeah, I think that's so true.
Yep. Yeah, and a Ute right there gets caught up in it. That's when you know you have something special.
You're not, to a large degree, and there are exceptions, are defined by your failures. You're defined by your successes. Michael Jordan talks about that, created a commercial about all that, all the shots that he missed, the game-winning potential shots that he missed, numbered far greater than the actual game-winning shots that he made. But he talks about how because he missed those, that allowed him to make those. And the greatest aren't defined. Tom Brady is not defined by the Super Bowls that he lost. He's defined by the Super Bowls that he won. So Jimmer's not defined by an unsatisfying NBA career. The fact that he got to the NBA, a 6'2" white dude from the middle of nowhere in upstate New York, got there is a Kurt Warner-like story in terms of, American hero and all that stuff. And now Warner obviously achieved more, gets to the Hall of Fame in the NFL and Super Bowls and all that stuff. But I don't think he's defined by his failure. I think he's defined, if you call that failure, he's defined by his success, just like we would define everyone by their successes. Why should he be any different?
All the games, the one that stands out for me is when his team was down and struggling, and after Brandon Davies had been suspended, going for 52 in the conference tournament when they'd already lost to the Lobos twice, and they needed a win to get a little confidence back. And he goes for 52 in the conference semifinals.
Zero free throws.
That was phenomenal.
Yes, and being in the Thomas and Mack at that point, in that arena on that evening, sold out. Thomas and Majerus used to always complain, why do we have these conference tournaments? Nobody, we don't get the attendance, blah, blah, blah. Well, and he was long gone by then, but they got the attendance then. And because New Mexico traveled really well, BYU traveled really well, and then you had other folks, because it was Vegas, who went to the tournament.
Right.
They were naturally there, and it was as good an environment as any environment that I have ever been in. And I've been in the Final Four. I was at the national title game and blah, blah, blah. And that was just incredible, the shots that he was making, and you knew he was going to be taking them, and he still got it done. It was, that of all the games, that was an absolute highlight. And there's just no doubt about it. It was the semifinal game, but on a Friday night. And me and Scotty G were sitting there, and gosh, it was something to think that I was there getting paid to watch that game when I would have paid to be there, because it was so memorable.
That was it. To me, that's the signature game. And he had other great games. He actually had a great game in the tournament as a junior when they beat Florida in double overtime. He was outstanding.
Yeah, I think the one Huntsman Center as a senior when he hits that half-court shot to end the first half.
If there's one shot, I think that's the shot people remember. And he was certainly on fire that night. The Utes were bad. I think everybody knew going in what was going to happen. But nonetheless, he put an exclamation point on it.
Yeah.
And the Sweet 16, obviously the 2 NCAA wins. So there's a handful of big games there. But to me, that New Mexico, having lost to them twice already and not having Davies, and for him to just put him on his shoulders. And whether it's true or not, there was this obsession like, oh, man, if they lose, they've earned this super high seed in the tournament. They're set up to go to the Sweet 16. If they lose, the selection committee is going to drop them. And, who knows what would have happened. But it didn't happen because Jimmer went berserk.
Yeah, and I've said this, and I believe it. I'm not saying it to play radio. I believe they would have gone to the Final Four if they had Brandon Davies. I wish there could have been another way to be able to take care of consequences for his actions. But nevertheless, that's long gone. I just don't think that anything matches the Jimmer mania. And imagine he's thinking, oh, my gosh, why couldn't I be 19 years old today?
Oh, man.
The money he
with
would get.
NIL?
Yeah.
Yeah. The NIL he would have gotten after leading them to a tournament win against Florida, which at that point is a big deal because they hadn't won a tournament game in so long.
Right.
He would have been set up for a jackpot his senior year.
Oh, 10, 15 million. If DeBonce is going to get what he got, then Jimmer and all those high-tech dudes that Kevin Young talked about.
They'd have taken care of
him. Oh, yeah. And they're basically jock sniffers. They want to be around and say, oh, I know him. He knows me. I mean,
I'm making this happen.
Let's call it like it is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why they're doing it. They want the glory of these guys who are in their 50s and 40s and 60s. They want the jollies that come from it. I mean, that's the truth. It sounds maybe harsh because I'm saying it, and I could say giving puppies to little children sounds harsh because I'm saying it. I understand that. But that's the truth. That's why they're doing this in the first place, because it gives them a little fame. Mark Cuban, without owning the Dallas Mavericks, is just another billionaire. Well, now, once he owned the Mavericks and all that, he's all over the place. He's telling us who to vote for. He's got television shows. He's doing all these things.
He's out warming up on the court before a game, so he makes sure he's available so the media can put him on TV, radio, whatever.
And so these guys here that got all this money from this tech or wherever they made their money, they want to be somebody. It's no fun just to be rich.
You get bored with the rich after a while.
You want the celebrity that goes with it, and that's how you buy celebrity.
Get a quote on ESPN.com.
Yeah, for sure. And so they would have just lathered him up, deservedly so. And he goes down to, much like Ty Detmer, as genuinely one of the nicest men, people, human beings you ever are going. He still does. It's not past tense.
No, he did so much media. I remember being down there after one home game, and this is when it's like, holy, it's a big deal, but it really drives it home. It's like, yeah, he'll come over and do a one-on-one with you, which players don't do after games, so that's something right there. But first, hold on, I got to put him on the phone with SportsCenter. He was so red hot, they didn't even need video or a picture. Just put him on the phone, we'll put him on the air.
Man, that's ancient.
It
Who
is.
watches SportsCenter?
Yeah, 15 years ago.
And he's a genuine, phenomenal person, and has time, and is always accommodating and friendly. You really can't ask for anything more. He's just an absolute model. So whenever the time is for jersey retirement, absolutely. Yeah, whatever requirements they have, some duration of time. I know they made it Ainge wait a long time. I don't know what the timelines are, if they have something that's specific or whenever they get around to it. Deservedly so. Absolutely. There's really nothing compares with it. Nothing. It was so sensational. And in a sense, the timing was right because no media was devoting any time to Utah basketball.
They were way down.
Yeah.
Losing record in the Mountain West.
Right. If they had been on top in the 90s, maybe it would have been split a little bit. Mm-hmm. And it's funny, when the Utes were doing their thing in the 90s, BYU was way down.
Yeah.
So we had a reversal several years apart of when one is way up and the other's way down, and the one that's way up demands and has earned all the attention because they were really, really, really good. And same thing here. 10, 15 years later, whatever it was, is that program with Dave Rose and his guys, they demanded and earned all the attention that they got too. And Dave Rose, being able to allow that to happen and be fine with it, was just an awesome coaching decision. You know, you look at Van Horn and Miller and you know, the leaders of that program, and Majerus allowed Miller to an extent, and certainly Van Horn, but not to the extent that Jimmer had. Just the absolute freedom, and all of his teammates willingly playing in, and Jackson Emery saying, okay, yeah, I'm going to be the defender guy. I'm not going to get any of the glory. All the spotlight. No one's asking me to be on SportsCenter and whatnot, but they don't get there without the contributions of a Jackson Emery who had some, like a Drew Hansen, had some decent size. I think Jackson was 6'3". Drew might have been an inch or two taller, but had lateral quickness and could take on very good perimeter players and just dig into that role and be an unsung hero to an extent. Yeah, I can remember Quincy Lewis, the basketball coach at Lone Peak. Like Jackson was like a freshman. He tells me, okay, a freshman in high school now. He tells me, this kid's different. He's not like most of the kids that we have in high school basketball in our state. He's different. And Quincy, obviously, phenomenal coach, great eye for talent, and we saw that. And sure enough, but then when he gets to BYU, you know, he's just a sensational high school player. He's got to take, to an extent, a back seat and says, yeah, I'm good with it. That was just a great run by everybody who was involved in that, led by this phenomena that was Jimmermania that literally captured the college basketball nation as a collective.
Tons of pub, Player of the Year awards. And locally, to your point, his timing was awesome because not only the Utes were down, that's when the Jazz were melting down. Sloan quit, and Darren Williams got traded in the middle of that season. So it's February, and BYU's like putting together their second 10-game win streak.
I like to say Jay Slow retired.
Okay. So while the Jazz and the Utes are going into the valley, BYU's climbing the peak.
Yeah.
And so that February and March, they were the feel-good story. And Jimmer, you just kept thinking, is this going to end? And it's not. Just every night, night after night, you go out and do it again and again.
I don't think that we'll ever see anything like it. Because if we did, it is only one season. There was an arc to Jimmer's run. He needed the junior year to set up the senior year. Well, there's nobody here, if he's going to be like that, is going to be even around.
It's hard to believe they'd be back. Yep.
Yeah. And we'll see what A.J. DeBonsa can do. Hopefully he can have something similar, but it's going to be a short run. It's going to be over as virtually as soon as it gets started, and there's going to be no more momentum building toward it. There's momentum now, but you know, expecting freshmen to take you all the way, it just doesn't happen. It's so rare. It's happened, but because it's so rare, we can cite the times that it's happened.
Carmelo, Anthony Davis.
That's it.
There we are.
Yeah.
Even Duke, as good as they were, came up short in the Final Four.
Now we can
BYU would be thrilled with the Final Four, obviously.
Juniors and seniors doing it all the time because they do it just about every single season. So DeMonson will very much probably have a phenomenal run, but it'll most likely come up a little bit short. I mean, maybe not. I hope not. That'd be great. But even still. And DeMonson has an opportunity to do something extremely special, that's for sure. No, there's no doubt about it. But, I mean, he's the number one recruit. He's supposed to.
He's taller than almost everybody.
Yeah, yes.
Jimmer, you and I are looking Jimmer in the eye. DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Tom Holmoe at the top of the hour. Stay with us.
Accessing.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G.
I can understand why all fan base is going crazy. Aggie fans, Utah fans, BYU, they're spending, and they are getting some amazing athletes. I can understand why everybody's kind of losing their mind, but I understand what BYU's doing too.
Problem is, you can't be sending out stuff about, we'll never be the highest bid. Yeah, you will. I've always said this. If you're a BYU fan, be like, darn right, we're spending more money than anybody else because we have more money than anybody else, and you can't keep up with this. Guess what? We're able to try to snag your guys because you don't have the money that we have. But don't be like, we just love them up more and we pay more. No, you're paying a lot of money. And you're paying more money than 95% of other schools out there. So you know what? Puff out your chest about that and say, damn right, we paid that money.
Catch Hans and Scotty weekdays from noon to 3 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The artist of the day is Kelly Clarkson. She celebrates her birthday. It's brought to you by Live Nation. For all the live concerts events in 2025, check out livenation.com. Tom Holmoe coming on the show, and our next got a list of opportunities for you up on our Facebook. What do you want to know? What do you think of his tenure as BYU? Jared wants to know Tom's biggest regret and Tom's best memory.
All right, that's great. That's fine. I'll agree with that.
Jason wants to know if there should be a curse on BYU for trying to buy a team. The curse of money? I haven't really seen that in sports.
Yeah, I guess that's been circulating out there, and it's somehow taken a big deal. That's just the rivalry, I guess, to a higher extent. And that's what's fun about this rivalry and now everybody can get on social media and run their mouths about it essentially through their fingers and typing stuff out. I mean, I got somebody texting me yesterday, ask him about this, ask him. They're offered to do it's not Will Snowden, Smith Snowden, $1.9 million. Ask him.
Cooper wants to know, will Lavelle Edwards Stadium be expanded? Are they going to fill in the corners with more seats? More people want to get into games.
Do they need to? Is that a big deal? If I were to do it, I would add more luxury stuff.
Yes.
To make the big money.
The premium seats are where it's at.
Yeah.
Aaron wants to know, is Richie coming back? And number 2, he wants to say, thank you, with an exclamation point.
Well, Tom has had an interesting run. I mean, I don't know that you can say that it was anything but interesting. All the stuff that went down, the bold move to go independent, and the shocking rejection and acceptance of Utah into the conference, the Pac-12, obviously, and then they thought they were in the Big 12 in the middle of last decade and had to regroup and just had to go along. One of the greater things that he did was play football when other people were scared in 2020.
Had a big year and leveraged that.
Yeah.
How do you rank the coaching hires? 3 basketball coaches, 2 football coaches. They all grade out pretty well, don't they?
Yes.
Maybe excellent?
Yes.
So maybe incomplete, I guess, when you only have one season to judge someone on.
Well, Kevin Young looks like he's doing really, really well. He will do really, really well. That's for sure. DJ and PK, the guys from Providence Hall, are here. If you don't know much about Providence Hall High School, well, you see that's why they're here. See how that works? Perfect, right?
Yeah.
Nathan and Austin join us, executive director and athletic director. You got new facilities at Providence Hall. You've been building.
We have.
What have you been building?
Yeah, we just opened up a new football stadium for our programs, and we have opportunity to have. We had our inaugural soccer game yesterday against Richfield. It was a phenomenal opportunity to start out a new facility. It's something we've been needing for a long time. It's right there on the corridor. It turned out really beautiful. Great turf facility with team rooms and the whole works. So we're really excited to offer that for our programs moving forward.
Is that a big jump start for the teams there, getting that new facility? Are the coaches pumped?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Last night we had our football team out and doing spring practices, and just, for me, it was fun to see their faces. this beautiful venue. We can see the valley on a night, and the lights are on, and the kids are just a lot of energy, a lot of excitement with the new facility for sure.
How long has Providence Hall been open?
Yeah, the high school opened in 2013, and we had a junior high before that. It was a K through 8 model at the time, and we opened up the high school in 2013, and been growing ever since. Kind of just maintain that enrollment around 650 at the high school, which is perfect for us. We love it.
Yeah. And in addition to sports, you got a lot of other programs, extracurricular activities, something you specialize in that attracts kids?
Absolutely. We have a phenomenal guitar program, and students come out. It's kind of a classical guitar approach, and it's beautiful. They compete at state every single year. We do all the performing arts, music. We have band, orchestra, choir. We have a phenomenal drama program. Our debate program is one of the best in the state. We go to state pretty much every year in debate. So,
how do people get a hold of you if they want to learn more?
Yeah, they can go to our website at www.providencehall.com. You can always give us a call, 801-727-8260, and speak to somebody at the front office. But we'd love to chat with your family and see if we're a good fit.
All right. ProvidenceHall.com. Nathan, Austin, thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you.
Tom Holmoe coming up next. DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone.